Hi guys, welcome back. I am super excited about today's video because it's a results video. It is all about a hair product that I've been using by a company called Calecim Professional. Now, I've spoken about them quite a few times here as well as over on Instagram, and now we're getting to the results phase. So Calecim is all about skin and hair rejuvenation with products that contain a complex of stem cell proteins. So this brand kindly sent me a number of products. Part of it is skincare and part of it is hair care. Skincare is a video that I have coming up soon, so stay tuned. This is all about their 6-week hair rejuvenation system. Now, in general, this idea of stem cells is an area I'm getting really excited about. I mean, it's a rabbit hole and it is complicated, and all I'm doing is praying in a corner saying, please let this work. I have high hopes. Stem cells are becoming a bit more prevalent in the skincare space, which is super exciting. And my scientific knowledge is quite limited here. So I'm just going to tell you what I know, and then I'm going to share with you my results. So stem cells are sort of the raw material of our body. They are the cells from which other cells are created. And they're sort of these messengers that tell these cells what to do. It either tells them to recreate, and it can actually turn them into specific cells that have a particular function, like brain cells or skin cells in this instance. Plus, stem cells are self-renewing, so as stem cells die, new cells are created. So this is sort of the whole process of regeneration. Now, just like all of the other good stuff in our bodies, it starts to deplete over time. So as we get older, our stem cell population starts to decrease. So what that means is there is a slowdown of tissue regeneration. That means it slows down the process of production for our collagen, our elastin, our hyaluronic acid, all the good stuff in our body. So what we really need are more stem cells. So now to talk about Calecim Professional. So they are actually the cosmetic arm of a bigger company called Cell Research Corporation, and they are purely focused on stem cell research and technology. So one of the founders of Calecim realized while working at a burn center in Vietnam that by applying stem cells directly to burns, it helped to speed up the recovery of the wound. So the one thing about stem cells, as we talked about them decreasing over time, you're going to find a high level of stem cell population in children. And where that comes from is the younger the child, the more the stem cells, because the stem cells are coming from the umbilical cord. That's sort of the Mac Daddy. That's where the highest level of concentration can be found, is in the umbilical cord. You see where I'm going with this? So Calecim has created a proprietary ingredient that comes from the cord lining stem cells. That ingredient is called PPT6, and it contains over 3,000 proteins, including growth factors and cytokines. So these cells are then telling your cells to act like children because they're these messengers and they can tell other cells what to do. So they're saying you need to go and act like a child, which makes your cells more productive, and it is going to increase rejuvenation. Now, this is not coming from human umbilical cord. Let me say that. This is actually coming from a single red deer from New Zealand. Now, they chose the red deer for a couple of reasons. One, it's actually closest in cells and its ability to communicate the cells to humans. The difference is almost undetectable. So the way that the cells talk to each other and instruct and message is the same way that it is in humans. So it's nearly identical. The second thing is there's no transmission of potential diseases between the species. So if they were to go to monkeys or gorillas and somewhere in that territory, if they had diseases, that could be passed over to humans. So there's no evidence of any kind that there's any transmission, so it's very safe. Now, I will say there's no harm that came to the deer. All of this came from one single deer in New Zealand, and it was just a byproduct of the birth, and the deer ran off into the woods happy, and the umbilical cord was taken by Calecim, and that is what has been used in the products, in all of their products, from one single deer. So my friend Claudia over at Claudia Glows did a really interesting interview with Oliver Tobin from Calecim, and they talk a lot more about the scientific stuff. So I'm going to put a link to that video down below because that's worth a watch. I'm finding this fascinating, super, super interesting. So go check that one out. So now we're going to talk about the hair system. Now it's interesting. Apparently it was kind of discovered by accident. One of the practitioners that was using the serum that you use on your face experimented with using it on the hair and found over time that it delivered some pretty incredible results. So they fed back into Calecim, who then recalibrated it specifically for the scalp. I think they changed the pH level and stuff. So what you get in this kit are a couple of things. One is you get 6 ampules, and they're all individually sealed and wrapped. Each of these ampules you'll use over the 6-week period, 1 a week. It also comes with the stamp, which is what you're going to use to create the channels on your scalp. And they come with these little disinfectant wipes that you use to sterilize the stamp before you use it. So how you use this system, it is super incredibly easy and it's super fast. So starting off with clean hair, I did mine dry. It never occurred to me to ask if you could do it wet, but I did it dry. And you start by disinfecting the stamp. You just stamp it a few times on the disinfectant, and then you stamp on the designed areas. And I did this in a couple of different spots. First was on my middle part, and each location you stamp 4 times. You stamp, and you stamp, you stamp, and you stamp, and then you apply the serum. Now, I did learn after a couple of tries, I kept trying to shake it out. You don't need to do that. You can just squeeze the tip and it comes out a lot faster. That took me a couple of weeks to figure out. But for me, it was all about the hairline because I have a center part. And then I did all of the area around my hairline because this is sort of the area here that I'm noticing a thinning. Where my hairline used to go like this, now it's going like this. So that's where I did it, straight here on the part and just around the side. The whole process takes just a couple of minutes. It's super, super fast. And I did this on a Sunday night and a Wednesday night for 6 weeks. So when you put the serum in, you just give it a little rub. So each session uses a half of the ampule. So you will be finishing an ampule every week. Talking about results. So I took photographs on the first day and I took photographs on the last day. And that was a 6-week period. And I have to say, there was no difference. Now, this was done back in January. So I started mid-January and I finished it at the end of February. So I looked at the videos just today because I never look at videos, in the meantime. And you didn't see much of a difference at all. But let me tell you, you see the difference now. Just as a starting point, do you see all of these little things here? Can you see those, Gary? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Do you see all of these little pieces of hair here? That is Calecim. Absolutely, without a doubt. Now, and I don't know if you can get in closer or not. So I don't know if you can see, but there are all of these little teeny tiny hairs along the hairline. Now, they're gray, unfortunately, so they're probably a little hard to see, but there are all of these little hairs everywhere along the hairline. So it's kind of funny because I'm often taking photos or short videos just to put on IG or to use here for shorts. And I started just to see all of these hairs sticking up. And I remember looking around going, what is going on with my hair? And then I kind of clocked to it because it was months after I stopped it. That is new hair growth. That is where hair did not exist before. So hair fallout is one thing. And, this whole menopausal hair journey has been a real stinker for me. And I've been trying lots of things. And I have some products that I've used pre-Calecim that were really there to help reduce hair loss. And there's been a huge success in that. But this is about something different. This is about new hair. This is about hair regrowth. And I have not been experiencing that with anything else. So now when I'm doing videos and I see hair sticking up, in a previous life, that would have really bothered me. I would have been getting annoyed and trying to stick it down. Now I'm like, I'm wearing that with pride. I have all these crazy little tufts sticking out everywhere. Like, look at that. That's not fringe, man. That is new hair growth. Super, super impressive. So what am I saying? I'm saying, in my opinion, this stuff works 100%. I'm seeing incredible results with it. Now, the downside is the price. You got to pay for technology. You got to pay for innovation. And this kit, this 6-week kit, costs 340 euros. And I think if you do a replenishment program, it takes it down to about 275. Now, in fairness, it's a pretty good deal if you were going to do the replenishment. Now, have I repurchased? I finished that at the end of February. I have not repurchased it because of the price tag. However, will I repurchase? It is very likely. I might just do it in a different way because I can see the results. In fact, I was talking with Oliver from Calecim, who is in the video with Claudia, and he said that people are using it sort of differently. If you want to do the burst and then go into a maintenance mode, you might be able to take that down a few notches. For example, you might have one ampule that lasts a month. So instead of using a half of one, maybe use a quarter of one once a week. And I may end up going back to that. We'll see what happens because the more hair loss I experience, then the more nervous I get. But I can see that this works. And if I had real concerns about hair loss, and like my friend Judy lives in New York, I know that it really bothers her. So I'm going to be sending her a link to this video so she can watch it. I think this is worth using. Now, even Claudia at Claudia Glows, who's had experiences in the past, when she used it, she put it all over her head. And I think that if I had loss like that, I would. Like, I chose to use it just in the areas that are visible, the ones that were bothering me. But if you have hair loss all over, I think this is definitely worth a check. And go to the website because some of the before and after photos, particularly in men actually, is astonishing. And it's definitely worth a check out. So that is it for today's video. Calecim, I just think this is an exceptional product. And I have the little hairs to prove it. I mean, it might make me look a little bit ridiculous, but I have hair growth where somebody at 52 isn't getting new hair growth. If anything, it's going the other way. So yeah, I will end up repurchasing this at some stage. I will. Maybe I do it once a year. maybe that's what I do. Maybe just do a burst once a year, just to sort of facilitate that follicle regeneration. So once it's growing new hair, I'm assuming it's going to continue to grow it. And that's the name of the game, right? So that's it. Have you heard of Calecim? Have you tried it? Are you suffering with any of these hair issues that you get as we age? Geez, nobody told me about this. It's kind of annoying, but it's nice to know that there are solutions and things that help me through the process. So please leave your comments, thoughts, anything down below, because I so love hearing from you. And if you like the video, please do give me a thumbs up because it helps the channel. So thanks again for joining today, and I will see you at the next video. Bye. Are we on?
We're on.
Is that not a good sign?
No.
It's fine. Okay.
Just get stuck in.
I'm getting stuck in. Okay.